Welcome to High End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Management Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Lyndel Johnson. This is episode number 2, and in this episode, we're going to dig deep into some changes that have occurred with commissions, and we're also going to have an expert here. This expert is an agent that's been in the business for several years. This is Jerry Flowers from LPT Realty. I know you'll have a great time. When I needed to find an agent that can really basically talk about some of these changes, you were the first person that that came to mind. You sold us our home that we're living in here now. We're living in Hawaii, my family and I, and we were looking for an agent that we could trust, an agent that just knew the business, knew Houston, knew the Houston area, and you were the first person that came to mind. So, it's been a pleasure working with you and just seeing just the growth of your business. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from San Angelo, Texas, graduated high school in 1991 and immediately joined the military, United States Army, 21 years, HUA.
All right.
I know, don't hold that against me. You're in the Marine Corps. But my father, he served in the Marines as well, Vietnam. My wife found a job here in Houston and away we went. And to be honest with you, I had no idea I was going to be doing real estate.
How many years has it been?
It's been a little over 10 years.
10 years. So let's talk about when you started 10 years ago to now. How has that been? Has it been harder from the time till now? Or, just basically, what was your experience like from then to now?
So it was a whirlwind. I mean, I took 1 week off from retirement, and you know how terminal leave is. I took 1 week off, went and visited mom, came straight to Houston, and I would hit the office. I went to the top RE/MAX office in the state, RE/MAX Fine Properties. I will never forget all the lessons I learned and all the opportunities they presented me. I joined a team, Mr. Ram King. He was my mentor. It didn't last long, a year, and he went on to greater, bigger, and better things. He opened his own brokerage, and I decided, I like the brand, I like the balloon, and honestly, it went a lot quicker than I thought. I went from Army. I was in Kuwait my last year, and I sold 15 houses as a buyer's agent my first year, and then I did over $350,000 of commission my very first year on my own. Wow. Actually within 6 months, and according to my broker then, he said that was the most that any first year agent had ever done. And then it's just been a whirlwind, up until, of course, the recession, a couple years ago, rates went through the roof. But I mean, it's just been a joy. I love it. I love interacting with people. I love meeting people. I didn't know you. I knew Vanessa. We had served in the Army together, but it's just these relationships. Sometimes when you're doing so much volume, you don't get a chance to really get to know people. But I've met several, and they come to my bar in Sugar Land, or we hang out, or I coach their kids or something. And, I couldn't be more blessed than to work for myself and the opportunity to help people.
That's great. Actually, where is this bar location?
Sugar Land, Texas, the Gridiron Bar and Grill.
Okay, the Gridiron Bar and Grill. So make sure you guys visit the Gridiron Bar and Grill in Sugar Land. So this week, or should I say a couple weeks ago, the National Association of Realtors basically settled a class action suit, and which will take effect in July.
Correct.
Can you tell us something about that?
Not 100% sure where this all started, but it's still very fluid. We're still finding out details. We're still finding out how to navigate it. I just from what I know, I honestly think it's gonna hurt consumers more than what they really think. You know, there never is, or in my 10 years never was, a set, you have to sell your home for 6%. That never was the case. I believe that's where this started, that consumers came on board and said there were realtors or brokerages that told them that that was the standard. Now, that's where you start, but everything's negotiable. Everything is negotiable. But with them saying now that, you know, these commissions aren't going to be listed, and maybe the seller doesn't want to pay, and, you know, now the buyers are going to have to pay. You know, not only are they already paying closing costs, down payment, now they got to pay the realtor's commission. And, you know, this is our livelihood. And now we have to go and negotiate with the seller's agent, with the listing agent, with the sellers, and say, okay, hey, are you, you know, what part of it? So there's still a lot to be learned. I have some training coming up in the next few months. There's still a lot to be learned, but I think it's going to be difficult at first, but I think we'll be able to navigate it. But the bottom line, it's all about the clients. It's all about finding you a home.
So if you guys haven't really heard about it, so just what happened was before, if you were an agent, or should I say you're a homeowner, let's take it that way. You're a homeowner and you want to sell your house. You now have found an agent to help you sell that house. Before, you would then say, okay, I'm going to give, like you said, like 6%
right.
of a commission.
And the 6% is 3 for the listed agent and 3 for the buyers.
Correct. But now with this new rule, that seller no longer has to pay that commission for the buyer's side. So now what happens is that agent for the buyer now has to negotiate the commission with the actual buyer, which is something that it didn't happen before.
Supposedly there's a couple ways they negotiate with the listing agent, and they can put it as concessions. Now, like I said, it's very fluid. We're still learning. We're still trying to understand. So in essence, the seller's going to have to pay it anyway, but we're wondering how much that's going to affect the buyer. With repairs, you know, you don't always, but you ask the seller, hey, give me concessions, so the buyer can do the repairs after we close, so they can find a trusted, you know, general contractor, so they can handle those and get those repaired appropriately. But if we're negotiating all the concessions, you know, is it going to affect the buyer? Will they have enough concessions? So those are some of the things I'm trying to find out.
Something that I'm curious about. Both you and I spent several years in the military.
21.
All right. So I did about 19.
Okay.
Almost 19, 20, almost 2 decades. So in my time in the Marine Corps, I think we earned the ability to use that VA loan.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you guys don't know, with that VA loan, it basically allows buyers to, that commission they're not required to pay a commission when you're using a VA loan. So I wonder, how will this new rule affect the VA loans? Do you have an opinion on that?
It's going to be catastrophic, where you can't put, and lenders, if I say this wrong, I'm sorry. We were talking about this the other day. You can't put the concessions on there. You can't have the buyer pay the commission. So now what do? It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt your FHA and your VA buyers, your government-backed funded buyers.
So stay tuned for future episodes. I think that is really a big topic for us to dig into. We will dig into that more.
Yeah, once I receive the proper training, I think we should do this again. Might bring some other guests with me from
Absolutely.
LPT, and we'll dig in deeper, dive in deeper, and I'll have a better update for you.
So with these new changes, just like Jerry's saying right now, so basically experts, that are in, real estate, they're actually doing this and learning as these changes just occur. So they're basically having to change how they do business real time. I like to say they're basically building the plane while they're flying. And there's no other way to do it at this point.
Another change, sorry to cut you off. Another change is, you call me and say, I want to see XYZ Avenue, this home over here. I have to have you sign a buyer's representation agreement before we even walk in the house. And it says, if the seller does not pay my commission, you're on the hook for it. You don't even know me. You click on Zillow, which I am one of the top viewed agents on Zillow, Sugar Land area, Richmond, Rosenberg.
Congrats.
Missouri City.
Right.
But yeah, I have to say, okay, great. Appointment set. Love to meet you. Tell me a little bit about your home search. Oh, by the way, I might need to send this to you to show you the house before I can show you the home. And it just says if it's a $500,000 house, you're on the hook for $15,000. So it's not even going to allow me to establish or build any kind of rapport, relationship. Here's the thing. Yes, I know some agents out there are going to cringe. Early on, I tried the buyer's rep agreement. I showed a couple $1 million homes, and I sat with the clients and I said, hey, we've had a good visit. I brought this little, buyer's rep agreement. I said, can I get you to sign? They read it, never heard from them. That was probably year one. And I know it happens, but you have no idea how many clients I've met that said, oh, this agent was so pushy and they made me sign the buyer's rep and we just wanted to see this one house. We didn't know, we want to get to know, and it shouldn't be that type of experience. You should want to work with your realtor. The realtor should be part of your family. Mm. And I know we're going to get into another topic about are we worth
Absolutely.
what that commission is? And I'll let you ask that question here as we go.
So you're spot on. Because two things that I was wondering is, why the changes? And B, do we really, as public, as people that really, try to dibble our hands in real estate, do we really know what it's like to be an agent? And is an agent even necessary? So what would you say to that?
Here we go. Yeah. Let's dive into the life of a realtor. So I'm going to start off with a buddy of mine sent me a link on Messenger the other day. And I was reading all the horrific. They were ripping us as realtors. Oh, my realtor didn't deserve this, and they made $9,000, $15,000, et cetera, et cetera. But let me ask you a question. You, personal. When did I show you the houses? Was it from 9 a.m. in the morning till 5 p.m.?
It wasn't. We were living in Hawaii. So the time difference between Hawaii and here, so it wasn't a normal 9 to 5 at all.
And many times I don't show houses 9 to 5. Because why? You're working. You're at your job earning your paycheck to pay for this house. So when do I see you? I see clients after business hours. But guess what? Where are my children? They're in sports. They're in swimming. They're in batting practice. They're doing whatever, playing the piano, jujitsu. They're doing things that I'm having to sacrifice. Is there a price for that? And you can say, well, then don't do it. But you're right, but somebody has to do it. So I'm giving my valuable time for your family. And it's not one. I might have 2 or 3 appointments in an evening. I miss dinners. Guess what? I have to prepare. So during the day, Lyndel sends me 4 houses. His wife sends me another 2. And then I don't ever have a husband and wife that collaborate efficiently and agree on what they want.
Right.
It's always a little different. So here I am getting a text here and a text there, and they're fighting back and forth, and it's friendly, it's all in love. But I have to schedule, I have to coordinate, I have to navigate. So that's during the day. I show you, then I have every agent calling me for feedback. And I'm waiting on you for feedback. You guys are having the conversation. Oh, guess what? I got to write the offer now. Well, now here I'm getting home at 9, 10 o'clock at night. When now everybody's going to sleep, I got to write an offer quickly because there's multiple offers. You know, I have to refer you to your lender. I have to talk and coordinate and collaborate. And now we're getting into inspections and title. It's not just, just go open the door with a key. You know, there's a whole lot of sacrifice that goes along that you can't put a price tag. I tell you what, if we don't deserve the commission and the money we make, we shouldn't be allowed to show houses but from 9 to 5. And you take the day off from your job, and I'll gladly, you schedule it. You schedule it, you make the calls, you coordinate everything, and I'll just sit back and, like people say, I'll open the door, you walk in, do your tour, and we're not valuable.
So you did mention, some of these steps. So could you go back a little bit and talk about the different steps? So let's just say if it was a homeowner, and when I say homeowners, I like to say homeowners / investors. But if you are deciding, I don't want an agent, what are the different things that need to take place? Because you did mention all those things that you're doing. You said that you're, putting in an offer, right? But before that, you're viewing homes, you're doing showings, you're putting in an offer. What's that? What else?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to be totally honest. 50% of the time, you probably don't need a realtor. You probably don't need anybody there. I've done some transactions before I was a realtor. I bought my first 2 small 8-unit apartment buildings back when I was 24, long time ago. And I did it owner finance. I did it with an attorney. I didn't go through the title company. An old friend of mine, Al Greenwood, he told me how to research title and make sure there was no liens and anything crazy on there. And it was a big book. I had to go and get a book and flip it and look at the property and look. So, luckily I refinanced several years later and it wasn't anything wrong. But let's say you go without a realtor, okay? You have to go and find your own lender. Not a big deal. You get online and you go find your lender. You find your lender. Then you have to have the listing agent write the contract. If they're writing the contract and they have a listing agreement, meaning they have a fiduciary responsibility to the seller,
they're not representing you.
They're not representing you.
Right.
And they can make you pay for the title policy. They don't have to add a home warranty on there. They can make everything tilt to the advantage of the seller. They can use whatever title company they want. They can do anything they want, which all title companies do a great job. So I'm not here bashing anybody, and that's fine. However, there are some things that do. How do you know you have the proper amount of time to negotiate? Who's going to negotiate your repairs? Who's going to read the repair report? Who's going to get the contractors to come out and give you an estimate? Who's going to do all that? You can do it, but are you as good as somebody who does it every single day?
So what I'm hearing is we recommend get an agent. Get an agent that you trust. An agent that has your best interest and that will work hard for you. There are many out there, and just like Jerry Flowers from LPT Realty. The last couple of questions that I have for you is related to property management. Have you seen that some owners that have had homes on the market for a long period of time, have you seen them actually decide to rent out their property instead of selling?
I have. It really just depends. It's case by case. It depends on the client. It depends on can they afford to float that monthly payment until they get a tenant. a lot of people are afraid of holes in the walls, scuffs on the floors, wear and tear. They're afraid that they rent their property out, that those things are going to happen. But my take on it is, if you have somebody that's going to manage and properly, dictate and navigate the entire rental process, then you don't worry about it. The job of a great property management company, as yourself, is to, and the word just slipped out of my tongue, but it's to hold the value of that property.
Absolutely.
That's your job. Your job isn't to pick up rent. Your job is to make sure that you maintain the value of your asset.
And he's spot on. As a property management company, you really want to make sure that you take care of that property. And the goal should always be, and I always say it, at Real Property Management Luxury, what we do is we really dig into returns on investment. But I do believe that a property management company should have a great relationship with an agent. What I like to say and what we like to do is, if there is a real estate agent who has a home that's been sitting on the market for a while, and the owner decides, hey, let's rent it because we just can't pay the mortgage, it's been sitting on the market for too long. What we tend to do is we rent out that property, and then when the owner decides to put it back on the market, that's when we give it back to that agent who gave it to us. So the agent gets a commission when they give it to us, and then they get it back to be able to sell. So it's basically a win-win situation. So that's going to be the market. That's the relationship between an agent and a property management company. So once again, I want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for spending time with us on this episode number 2. It was great to talk about a little bit about commissions, but what I'm getting at is it's fluid right now. There are a lot of training that's going on with the real estate agents and the brokerages and stuff like that. LPT Realty, if you are looking to sell your home, they'll be the best. One of the best companies to go to. Or brokerages, I should say. They do a great job, and Jerry Flowers is a rock star agent. And they're making sure that they understand the rules, and they're making sure that they are the cream of the crop in real estate. So once again, I want to say thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me, and I want to give a shout out and a plug to LPT Realty, the fastest growing brokerage in the United States. They've not gone public, but they will. They're only in 20 states right now. And I can tell you that if you're paying high monthly dues, if your commission split isn't what you like, if you're not getting stock options, if you're not able to recruit and get a little residual, you need to call me, Jerry Flowers, 832-702-5241. Let's have a conversation. But if you need someone to manage your properties, Lyndel Johnson, Real Property Management, Luxury, this is your man.
All right. I love it. So once again, thank you so much. And that's a wrap.